This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so when it comes to update management, so update management refers to having our operating system updates up to date. So when I say operating system update, so as a IT administrator or as a cloud operations engineer or a system administrator, one of the regular activity that we perform is patching, right? That is nothing but update management. So here in Azure platform, Microsoft provides three different options. Okay, the first option is Update Management Center. Okay, this is an option which is still in preview. Okay, so you can use this option to patch or manage patches for all your systems like Windows or Linux virtual machine. The machines can be in on-premises Azure platform or even in other cloud platform. So you have a single option or you have a single pane of glass which you can use to manage all the systems from different environment, and from one location you can also quickly assess the status of all the available updates for all your systems. So this is update management center, and we also have one more option called Azure automation, and within that they have given us update management. This is another option, and the third option we have got is this security extended security updates. Okay, so this is only for the legacy operating system. Okay, so we'll explore all three options today. So as I said, this update management tool can be used for managing OS related updates for both Linux and Windows. Okay, and also you can manage operating systems across Azure, on-premises, and third-party cloud. Okay, so here then it is not only used for patching alone, you can also quickly assess the status also to assess the status of the installed and the available updates for your servers. Okay, so see, when you are having a very small environment, if you consider maybe I have got only a handful of system, maybe 5 to 10 servers. Okay, this is a very small environment, right? So you can do a manual patching. So you can log into your system, and then you can go and select which updates to install, and then you can manually do it. But then if you have for example, a medium size environment, something like 10 to hundreds of servers. Okay, so here in this case, generally in our organization, we might be using tools like BigFix or SCCM or WSUS along with Windows Admin Center for patching the system, right? This is for mid-size environment where we have to create a baseline for our servers, and then based on the baseline, we can go and patch the system. Here we cannot go and do a manual patching for each server one by one. And for servers where we have hundreds of thousands of systems or 1,000+ servers, definitely we need to have a very good strategy, right? Large to very large environment, we might have to use tools like Windows Admin Center or tools like SCCM along with WSUS, or else we have to use tools like SUSE Manager. So these are all different tools that are available for your on-premises, but these tools does not help you to manage cross-platform. For example, WSUS is primarily for Windows Server update services, but you cannot handle Linux-related update. But this update management center, or we have Azure Arc or Azure Lighthouse. These are all tools which are very much closely linked with update management, where you can manage systems across even AD tenant also. You can also manage systems across different customer environment also. But we don't have to get into that now. But update management center, you can manage all the operating system updates for your server. It can be Windows virtual machine or Linux virtual machine. The systems can be on Azure platform or on-premises data center or third-party cloud, and it can be for any size of customers. Okay, now with Azure Update Management, you have a very good single pane of glass where you can have a effective software update management process. So here with a lot of operating systems, like there will be a lot of risk, vulnerabilities, cyber security threat. There will be a lot of challenges in terms of softwares that we are installing. So we need to have some central management option through which you can manage the complete updates of all your systems. So how do we do that? So I'll show you how to handle this. So update management. Let me start with the simpler one. Okay, so we will go with the extended security update option. So this option is for your legacy operating system. When I say legacy operating system, Microsoft provides extended update when you migrate the Windows 2008 or Windows 2008 R2 server to Azure cloud. So if you migrate this migrate to Azure, so we need to subscribe for extended security update. So these servers are already outdated. These are all already out of support from Microsoft, and Microsoft doesn't provide any kind of security updates or patch releases for these operating system when you are running it in on premises. There are some special case customers who has a lot of servers with these operating system flavors. See, Microsoft is providing this extended support. There are two reasons. One, there was a drastical change in the OS architecture where most of the operating system migrated from 32-bit to 64-bit during the 2008 operating system release. So Windows Server 2008, it came up with in R2, like they also released 32-bit as well as a 64-bit release operating system, so that the applications can be transitioned or migrated from the 32-bit to 64-bit. Even there are a lot of customers who have their applications still not compatible with 64-bit releases. So for such customers, they want to still use that operating system until they get a budget for their application replatforming or application revamping. So Microsoft is supporting those large set of systems which are still running on these legacy version of operating system. So what we need to do is we need to get into the extended security update. So we need to register for extended security update. So what we have to do is we need to go and get some activation key. They will provide a set of they call it as MAK, multiple activation key or MAK key. So you need to get that particular key for your set of systems, and Microsoft will allow you to get your system updated at no cost. Okay, so if you're migrating your systems to cloud, you get this beautiful option. Okay, so this is very straightforward. So you will get a Windows multiple activation key. They call it as MAK in short. Okay, so you will get this key and you can add those systems which are covered under this particular program. Okay, but this will be very minimal, and you will see these kind of systems in very large customer environment. But most of the new server that we are creating in the cloud, it will be either Windows 2019 or 2022 operating system. So now let's come to the majority of the servers. Like majority of the servers will be in 2012 or 2016 or 2019 or 2022 on the Windows side, and on the Linux side we might have some Red Hat or SUSE or Ubuntu systems, right? So we'll see how to manage them in a central location. The regular method is using the Azure Update Management option, which is part of your Azure Automation tool. Okay, Azure Automation has got this update management option. I'll show you how to do that. In order to use this update management feature, we need to go and create a automation account first. So you have to go to the home, or you can just go and type automation account. First create the automation account, and within the automation account we have a lot of different activities that we can do. So as you might understand or assume, with automation account you can do a lot of automation, like it can be automatic restart of your server, or automatically starting a service if it goes down, or automatically patching a system on a particular cycle, or you can schedule some activities using this Azure automation tool. So Azure automation tool is to create a lot of run book to do some automation of your operation task. So one of your regular operational activity is patching, right? So it can be patching of your server in in Azure or AWS or on premises. You can do it from one single console. So I'll go and create a automation account. I'll show you how this works. So I'll create it as Stan automation account 001. Okay, and then I'll create it in East US. You have to create it in every single region, and you can manage the cloud the jobs on both Azure virtual machine, and also you can manage your VMware VM or Arc enabled VM. All those are all supported now. Okay, let me show you. So I can go and create a manage identity. So when you want to manage certain things on your behalf, you generally go and create a service account in your on premises. Similarly, in the cloud, we have something called managed identity, which is very much similar to the service account, but the service account is managed by Microsoft Azure. So this account will be used for doing the patching or doing the update management information, gathering the data. So all the activities will be run as a credential, as a stored credential using the service account. So for any service, for example, if you're configuring backup or patching or monitoring, see, you cannot use your own ID, right? Because you might be working for that company today, tomorrow you might be moving to another company. So you cannot configure your own user account. So generally for all these operations management tasks like backup or patching or monitoring, you have to use a service account, right? And that's what we call it as managed identity in the cloud. You can also create a user assign, but that's not the best practice. So you can also allow this automation account to manage your server either using the public IP or the private IP. So I will allow public IP. Automatically it will give connection access to both public as well as private. So I will just use the public connection option for now. Okay, let me wrap this. Okay, just a second. Okay, so let me create this automation account. Okay, while this is creating, I see some of them are just joining in. So as part of our regular day-to-day operation, so as a cloud operations engineer, as a cloud administrator, one of our important job is to keep our Windows and Linux servers up to date with patches and security updates, right? That is one of our important tasks. And other than that, we also do OS management, template management. We also manage the storage capacity and other stuff. But patch management and update management is an unavoidable task. It happens every month, and sometimes you will have patching for different development, production, and non-production servers in a different weekend. So I'll talk about that shortly. But so we are talking about Azure Update Management, which is a tool used for patching your servers, Windows Server and Linux Server across your landscape. So if you look at here, you have a separate section called Update Management, okay, under the automation account. So once you create the automation account, you will have this update management option through which you can go and manage your system. And as a prerequisite, what you need to do is, for update management, you need to connect your Azure virtual machine and your third-party cloud hosted virtual machine to a log analytics workspace. What is this log analytics workspace? Log analytics workspace is a storage account with analytics embedded into it. So it gathers the information from each of your server, whether the patches are already installed or what kind of patches are missing. So all those logs will be collected and stored in this storage account. So log analytics workspace is nothing but it is an Azure storage account with machine learning and analytics enabled on that. Okay, so it is an intelligent storage account, I would say. Okay, in other words, we can call this log analytics workspace as a intelligent storage repository through which we can connect all the Azure machine and the non-Azure machines, and we can try to gather the information on what are the patches that are already installed, what are the patches that are missing on that system, and so on. So I'll create a log analytics workspace, and then I'll enable it. Okay, so once after this is enabled, we can go and start registering our server to this log analytics workspace. I'll show you how that works. See, if you have very few machines, you can also go and do the patching very easily. I'll show you what is the option or how to do that. So let me create a new screen here. Just for an example, I have got a machine. I've got one server here, right? I'm not sure if it is already powered on or powered off. It is stopped. I'll turn on this machine. We'll also create one more or two more servers to understand how we do a bulk patching or a bulk update. So we'll create one Azure virtual machine with Linux, and we'll also create one Azure virtual machine with um, older operating system version. Okay, I'll just create this. I'll call this as Stan Azure Linux VM 1. Okay, we'll go and choose maybe Ubuntu 20.04. And since we are just using it for patching, I think this is okay. 2 GB, 2 vCPU and 8 GB RAM. Even you can go with a little more lower value. But yeah, I think this is fine. Yeah, I think let it be like that. Okay, we can clear that machine after we complete it. So when you have very few machines, so when you are creating this VM, I'm not sure how many of you had an opportunity to look at this. So when you go to the management option here, if you scroll down, you can see that you can go and enable guest OS update as part of your image default. Also, you can go and do a orchestrated patching across availability set. So this is mainly for if you have multiple servers running on an availability set, you cannot patch both the servers at the same time, right? You have to patch one by one so that the availability is maintained across the server. So you can also go and enable guest OS update option. Okay, so while you are creating the VM, so there is an option when you create the VM, while creating VM under management, you also have the option to choose how to patch the guest OS. Okay, that option is there. Okay, but I'll leave it with the guest image default. I'll show you how to manage it later. Okay, let me go and review and update it. So we have created a Linux VM now. I'll also create one more server which is running on Windows 2022 or different OS flavor. We already have one Windows 2019 server. I will also create a VM in some other cloud like AWS or GCP. We'll also see how to manage those servers from Azure Platform Management. So we'll also see that. So I'll go and create a VM in AWS, and also in GCP also we'll go and manage, we'll create one more server there. Okay, let me create one more server on. We'll create one more Windows server. Stan Azure VM 1. So I'll create a Windows Server 20. We'll go with a little outdated version. Okay, maybe 2016, something like that. Okay, so this is fine. This capacity is okay. Okay, again on this machine also, you'll have the same option under the management. You have two options. So I'll explain what is hot patching. Okay, so there is an option called hot patching that is available for your latest operating system. I'll explain that. It is a very interesting feature. So I'll spend few minutes about explaining that shortly. but it is not available because we are selecting a older operating system. So those options are not available. Let me review and create. So if you have very few systems, you can manage it manually like that. But definitely, like if you have hundreds of server, we need to use the update management center. Okay. So why we need to um, do all these things? So we need to understand that, see, update management, it is updating. There are two different things: updating OS and inbuilt roles, features is different. Updating third-party software or application is different. Okay, so here, okay, so when you want to go and scan your operating system and all those things, you can use your Azure Update Management. But if you want to scan your application or some third-party software, generally we have different tools for that. For example, in organizations, they might use Tenablenesses, or maybe they might be using Qualys and other tools for vulnerability validation or vulnerability checks. In order to check if there is any vulnerability on your application or software, we have different tools to do a vulnerability management. So vulnerability scanning is different, and patching on operating system is different. So why we need to do all these things? So as I told you, this is mainly for effective software update management. So when you have a effective software update, you can overcome a lot of vulnerabilities. You can overcome, you can reduce the risks. You can overcome any security issues. You can be compliant in terms of your OS auditing and all those things, and it can be operationally efficient also, because you can have your server without any impact. It won't be having any cyber security threat or whatever, right? So overcome any cyber security issues. So in order to have this, you need to have effective patch management process, because people will, the malwares will be spreading. There will be viruses that will be spreading, but you need to have your systems and software up to date, so that you can have, you can overcome those security risk, security issues, or cyber security threat. And with, in order to do that, Microsoft gives you three different options. And as of now, this is the most preferred option, the Azure Update Management. And the second preferred option is Update Management Center. So as of now, this tool is in preview. So when it is in preview, there is no cost during the preview stage, but it will become cost. It will incur cost in the future. But for now, this tool is offered for free, but it will become chargeable when it comes to general availability. But this one is chargeable. Okay, for Azure Update Management Automation, Update Management tool is free, but Log Analytics Workspace is chargeable. So whatever data that we are storing, data or logs that are getting stored in your log analytics workspace, that will be chargeable. Tool is free, but the backend data that you are gathering from each of your server, which kind of patches are installed, which of them are not installed, what is the KB articles, and all those things will be gathered in your machine. So these kind of scans, it happens in a regular interval. Okay, so for example, if you are talking about Linux servers, the data collection frequency is every 1 hour the scanning will happen. Okay, I'll also add this so that you can refer this later. So data collection. So for Linux servers, the data collection happens every 1 hour. So it will tell us like whether the patch is installed or not installed. Scan every hour. Whereas for your Windows, it twice per day. because most of the organization will have a lot of Windows server. So if the scanning is happening very frequently, this will impact your performance on your system. And again, for your Linux, there is not much patches getting released, but the scan happens every 1 hour. And some of them will ask like if the data is being collected or the data collection is happening, how much data will get accumulated. For example, like I would say 25 MB per month per server, okay, or per machine. So that accumulates, that gives you a kind of rough idea. For example, if you have 1,000 servers or 100 servers, you can calculate 25 MB approximately for each server per month, and that will be the cost for your data collection frequency. Okay, so that is how you can calculate the cost of the vulnerability management or the update management on your Azure platform. So sometimes, see, when you add your machine to Azure platform or Azure update management, the scan will take some time. Okay, sometimes it might complete within 30 minutes, or it might take some time up to 6 hours for the servers to reflect, get reflected in your Azure update management console. So for the first time, you have to be little patient. Okay, sometimes if there is less workload or this less management activities happening on your Azure platform, it might get immediately reflected, but sometimes it might take more time to get reflected. Okay, so let me go and show you how that works. So now the automation account is there, and as part of this, what has happened is we have created a log analytics workspace. Okay, I'll show you where exactly that is. If you look at here, currently you can go and add Azure VM or add non-Azure VM. I'll show you how to add those VMs. So currently there is 0 machines that is added under your update management. So how do we go and add it? So I'll show you that procedure. And I'll also show you one more option. If you have a server separately, you can go to that particular system separately in that particular VM. For example, I can just go to this VM here. Under this VM, if I scroll down, I will see two different options. The first option is updates. Okay, so here you can also do a manual update management. See, it is saying try the new update management center. I can just open that in a new screen, but there are two different options. So guest OS update and host OS update. So host OS is Azure uh, physical server or Azure Hyper-V host. So this is like you will see a update here if there is any planned maintenance by Microsoft. So host OS is managed by Azure or Microsoft team. You have to manage only your guest OS update, your Azure virtual machine update. But at the end, it is a VM, right? So there are two different things. Okay, so here, um, so how do you, okay, I'll just mention this here. So host OS is managed by Microsoft, and you will be seeing the planned maintenance under the specific operations, updates, and host OS update section. Operations, updates, and host OS update. So Microsoft will keep you informed if there is any updates that are going to happen on your host OS, and automatically that will move your virtual machine to another Azure host. So there won't be any impact, but you will be informed about their Azure Hyper-V host updates. But guest OS update is something which we need to manage as a customer. Okay, so here again it is under the same option, operations, update, and guest OS update. So currently I'll show you these two options. There are two options. So go to updates using automation. If I click on this option, it will take me to the update management. It will ask me like which workspace I need to connect. Okay, so here I can also go and verify what is the log analytics workspace that has got created. Okay, so this is the one. Okay, we might have given a meaningful name, but anyway, so it has created like this. So it has given workspace -ed0. So I'll go and select that one. So I'll select this from the drop down and enable it. If I enable it, this machine, this virtual machine will get registered to that log analytics workspace. Once after it is registered, you have to pay for the logs that is getting stored in your log analytics. How much it is? It is 25 MB approximately per month per server. Okay, so let me enable it. You can do it two ways. Okay, one way is to do it from the machine here, or what you can do is you can go to that particular log analytics workspace. From here you can also add the machines to this. So go to agents management section under the log analytics workspace. Currently it is adding, searching for Windows computers. Okay, automatically it will add that one server which we have registered. Currently it is showing 0 Windows computers connected because we have not added anything. Even Linux will be 0 because we have not added any servers as of it. So what I will do is I will wait for that to come. Okay, so there is nothing connected here. So how do we add the VM? So I'll show you how to do that. So if you have some legacy operating system, you can go and add it under the legacy agents management option here. But I'll try to add this machine. Okay, let me create a server now. I'll log into my AWS account. Let me check. I think I have already logged in this morning for something else. Yeah. So I had a Kubernetes class this morning. Maybe I'll refresh this. Okay, so I'm going to create a server in AWS platform. I'll also create a server in Google platform, and I'll show you how to manage all these servers across different cloud environments managed from Microsoft Azure. Okay, let this get logged in. Meanwhile, so if you want to manage the machines outside of Azure, you have to install this log analytics agent. Okay, so you have to use this workspace ID and you have to install this log analytics agent on those machines. But in your Azure VM, you don't have to do that. You can directly link them by selecting it. Microsoft has given an inbuilt agent on your virtual machines called Microsoft Monitoring Agent, MMA agent, on your Azure virtual machine, which can be used for doing all this patching and all those things. You don't have to separately install any agent. But if you are trying to add some third-party virtual machines like your on-premises VMware VM or Hyper-V VM or your AWS or GCP VM, then you need to go and install the agent based on the operating system architecture. You can install the 32-bit or 64-bit and you can get them added here. Okay, so now I'll just log into my um, AWS account, and I don't have any machines in AWS. I'll go to EC2. EC2 is again similar to your Azure virtual machine. Here is where we go and create a virtual machine. So I'll go and launch an instance. So I'll just say AWS Windows VM 01. Just for identification, I'm just mentioning at AWS. Okay, so Microsoft. So I can go with maybe 2019. Okay, so I can just use T2 Micro. This is the free tier eligible one. Okay, so I don't have to pay anything. So I can just select some key pair for logging into the server. And for now, I'm just allowing only the traffic for RDP alone. But if I want to select some different or complete access, I can just select the default one. I think the default one has got, let me check. Yeah, it has got traffic, outbound traffic allowed because I need to send traffic data to Azure platform. So I'm just allowing the traffic. So here I'm just giving only 30 GB space for my OS. Don't worry about the procedure here. So I'm just creating a VM in AWS platform. So you can create it in, I mean, even you can add your own laptop or desktop to Azure platform to get the patches done. Okay, even it can patch your own laptops and desktops also. Okay, let this get launched. Okay, and meanwhile, I can just refresh here because we have registered one VM, right? So this VM is now registered to that particular log analytics workspace. After a few minutes, you will start seeing the missing updates, and then you can schedule the patching for this VM. Now, let me go and refresh it. Sorry, there was a power fluctuation here. So I'll refresh my connection. So it got reconnected. Okay, now I should start seeing one virtual machine at least because we have already registered one server. See, it says one Windows computer connected, and I can go and check what is the name of that server. From here, I can just go and filter it. So here it will show me which server it is connected. See, it is saying stan Windows Server Active Directory 01.skillupstan.online. So it has used the direct agent to register the VM. So I can go and find out like this. I'll come to the log analytics, log management and all, but let me go one step back. So here I will also go and add additional machines. So how do I add more machines? So if I go to virtual machine here under the workspace data sources, it will show me how many VMs are there in my Azure account, Azure subscription. You can also go and add additional subscription if you want. Okay, and you can go and get the complete list here. And if I want to register the Azure virtual machine, I can go and select here, and then I can just say connect. Okay, it is a very simple option. So you can just say connect, and this VM will get connected to my log analytics workspace. It is very easy to get your VMs connected to log analytics workspace. Similarly, I'll go and connect the Linux machine also. So this is Linux now. Now it is going to connect the Linux machine. You can either go to the virtual machine and then you can connect it to log analytics workspace, or from the log analytics workspace, you can connect to the VM. So you can do it vice versa. Is my audio okay? You guys are able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, okay, fine. Okay, once after these are registered, you will be able to see those machine under the agents management console. Now this will show two Windows computer after the connection is complete, and it will show one Linux computer connected after the um, link is done. Okay, I'll show you how to do the AWS VM here. I'll have to copy the agent. Since that is the Windows one, I have to copy the Windows agent. If you are adding Linux machine, you have to download the Linux agent on your third-party VM. Okay, so now I have to copy the 64-bit agent. I'll copy the link address. So it says successfully connected one VM. The Linux VM is connected. So if I go and refresh it here, now I should start seeing one. Let me refresh. Okay, it will take some time. Okay, no worries. So let it take its own time. So now I will log into my Linux VM, sorry, Windows VM in AWS, and I'll show you how to install the agent. So this is the VM. So let me open up a notepad. So this is my AWS VM1 and this is my IP address. So I'll have to generate the username and password. I have not generated it yet. So I'll go and connect to it. So I'll connect it using RDP. So I'll get the password. I'll have to select the private key for that particular VM and then generate the password. So this is the first time I'm doing on this machine. So I've generated the password. Now I will be able to log into this virtual machine, which is in AWS. Okay, since it is T2 micro, it will be little slow to respond, but after a few minutes, once after it is warmed up, it'll be we'll be able to access it a little better. Okay, so it takes its time. Okay, let's see whether it is already running. It is running, and okay, so it has got. We can also go and check the status. So there are 2 by 2 status checks. We have to find it. Okay, it is passed. The host and the system is ready. Okay, let me go to the details. So this is the public IP. Let me check the security group. Possibly I made a mistake there by selecting the default one. What is the default one and whether they have allowed all the traffic? So okay, security group, they have allowed the traffic from this security group alone. So that means we are not allowed it from outside AWS. So I'm allowing it from everywhere. So I'll add a new rule and then allow the traffic from anywhere and then delete this rule, save it. So now I should be able to connect to that VM. So earlier the rule did not allow connections from outside AWS. So now it should allow. Yeah. So I'll go and select my user ID. So I'll go and use my password. Okay, by default, it'll have a generic name. In AWS, it is having something like EC2, some name, some random name. If you want to change it, you can change it and restart the machine. But let it be with the same name. Okay, we don't have to really worry about the server name and all. So we'll have to find out whether the server is getting registered to Azure platform and whether we are able to manage the AWS and GCP VM from Azure console. That is the only thing we need to care about. Okay, I'll also log into Google shortly, Google GCP platform, and then we'll create a VM there. Okay, it will take some time to warm up. Okay, so initially it will be a little slow. I'll also disable the firewall so that I'll be able to manage it from Azure platform. So you need to install the agent only for non-Azure VM. Okay, for Azure VM, it has the agent is already pre-installed. Just a second, let me. See, in your Windows operating system, you can also do the patching. Okay, as you know, we have manual patching option, and you can also go and configure them with ACCM server or WSUS server for your patching activities in your on-prem. But in the cloud, it is a little different, right? So I'll show you how to do that in the on-prem. So you have to go to Windows Update option here, and you can go and check for update, and then you can update your server if there is any missing patches. So this is how we generally do the patching manually, but it is not a recommended practice, right? You have to check for the update. It will go and verify what kind of patches are missing on the server, and it will tell us that these patches are missing, and we'll go and install it during your non-production hours. And in Windows, we also have something called Admin Center. I'm not sure how many of you have used it. So if you go to Admin Center, Okay, I'll also show you that. Okay, I'll install it and show you. Okay, so I'll show it on the Azure platform because these VMs are a little powerful. It has got a lot of capacity, but the Azure AWS VM is very small. Okay, let me go and install the agent on the AWS VM. So I'll go and paste the link that I have copied. So from here, I'll go and copy the link, download 64-bit agent, copy the link address, go to your platform, go and paste it there and download that log analytics agent. So we call it as Microsoft Mobility Agent Setup. I'll go and save it on my machine first and then I'll run it. So you can also run it directly if you don't want to download it local. Okay, so it is running the scan and we will be able to install it now once after the scan is complete. It will take 1 or 2 minutes. This is the same procedure. You need to do it on your laptop or in your on-premises VMware VM or any VM. You have to do the same procedure. Okay, let me go to the downloads directly. Okay, so it is here. We can run it directly from here. So it is asking me whether we can run it. The download is also completed. I can just close this since we have already ran it. So we are installing the Microsoft Monitoring Agent. This is an updated agent like your System Center Operations Manager, right? In your on-premises, Microsoft provides a tool called Operations Manager for monitoring your system. So we had a similar agent there, but it is also a very similar agent which we use for patching, monitoring, and a lot of other activities can be done using this agent. So now it is asking whether I want to connect to System Center Operations Manager. If your organization is still using SCOM, you can connect this machine to your on-premises System Center Operations Manager. But if you are using Azure Log Analytics or Azure Update Management, then you have to select this option. So it will ask us few details. Where do we find this workspace ID and all those things? It will be under the same screen here. Under the Log Analytics workspace, under the settings, under Agents Management, you will be getting the workspace ID and the key here. Okay, you have to enter the workspace ID. Okay, the screen has went blank, a little slow. Okay, I'm not sure, the network is a little slow. Okay, I'll enter the workspace ID and then I'll also enter the workspace key. I'll copy it. And if you are connecting this machine to Azure Commercial Cloud, you can select Azure Commercial Cloud. Or if you are connecting to Government Cloud or Azure China or different thing, you can change it, but it is Azure Commercial only. If you have a proxy setup in between, if you have some Squid proxy or other proxy servers, you can add that proxy here. But here I don't have any proxy server. I can directly go and add this VM. So if you want to use Microsoft Update to patch your server or to patch the Microsoft Monitoring Agent, you can select this option. So automatically when there is a new version or new patch available for Microsoft Monitoring Agent, it will automatically update along with your Microsoft Update. But if you don't want to use it, you can just select it. But yeah, let me leave it like that and then install it. So here, this machine is what? Host name is EC2 Amazon NMAA8RU. That is the name of the server. And the version of the Windows is 2019. That is fine. So it is getting installed. And you can also go to that location. Okay, let it get installed. I'll show you. So we can also log into one of our server here. And then I'll show you what is the difference here. So if I go to my Azure VM, I'll copy this. What happened? There is some slowness in the network. Okay, let me log into the VM. Okay, it is asking for the credential. Just give a second. Okay, let's log in. Okay, so here what you can do is I'll show you how to manage the server using admin center. Okay, so if you go to your Microsoft Edge browser, and here, okay, let me minimize it. So you see a menu here. Okay, try using admin center. So you can just click on this Windows Admin Center option, and it will ask us to download that Windows Admin Center on your machine. Okay, let me show you how to do that. So download this Windows Admin Center. This is a very powerful tool. So if you are running your Windows Admin Center in Azure, you can try this, but I'm going to show you how to do it on your local machine. So I'll run this. So I'll save it first. You also have this admin center in Azure itself. Okay, so you can manage all the systems management, patching, a lot of different things, backup, and everything can be done using one single console. Okay, let me install this. So system, the software is not supported domain. Oh, okay. So this is a domain controller, right? We should not add any additional role on the domain controller. What I can do is I can do one thing. We have created one more server here, right? Azure Windows VM. So we'll install it on this machine. Okay, let me copy the public IP. So generally domain controllers is meant for only domain controller role. You should not mix and match the role on that server. You should not add any additional load on that server. Okay, so here we can go and download that update management tool. So I can copy the link and then download it. Okay, once after it is logged in, I'll show you how to do that. So if you have been working as a system administrator or with similar role, you know how important is the patching, because updates to Microsoft, it is a recurring series of event, right? Updates come very frequently, very quickly, and whenever there is a new attack vector or any security flaw that is identified, Microsoft generally releases a hotfix or security update very frequently, and they have something called second Tuesday of every month. They call it as Patch Tuesday. That is when they release every security update related to operating systems. Okay, I'll explain that, but just start off talking while this is getting done. Okay, so we call it as second Tuesday of every month. We call it as Patch Tuesday. That is when they release the security update for Microsoft operating system. But Linux, they don't have a regular frequency. Linux updates will be released once in a quarter, or it's not having a similar regular channel like Windows operating system. Okay, let me go and install the Windows Admin Center on this machine. Okay, this should be somewhat okay because it has got some 8 GB of RAM, so this should be much faster compared to your AWS VM. I'll run this. So it is going to install the Windows Admin Center on this machine. So it is verifying whether we have got enough capacity, prerequisites are validated. Yeah, I think we have all the prerequisite. And I can just go and accept the license agreement. Click on next. So if you want to have a lot of information, for example, if you want to do some troubleshooting or if you want to add some diagnostic data, health monitoring, and all those things, you can add additional information. But for now, I'm just adding only required diagnostic data. The optional ones I'm skipping. Okay, and if you want to update this Windows Admin Center along with your Windows update or Microsoft update, you can use this, but that is the recommended practice. I'll go with that. Okay, click on next and I'll install it. So you can also get the latest installation source from this particular location. Okay, so okay, let me just install it. Yeah, if you want to improve the security and you want to have transport layer security, you can enable HTTPS. But if you are using it only within your organization, I think this is fine. You can directly leave it. Okay, this is not into our topic today, but I'm also showing you that we have a very powerful tool from Microsoft, which can help you to do all the routine patching, monitoring, and other stuffs. Okay, let it install on the back end. Meanwhile, we can go and check what happened on the AWS machine. Yeah, the agent has got installed on my AWS. It is saying you must approve the agent on the pending management view in the administration section. Okay, I'll just finish it and then it will restart. Okay, so you have to get downtime if you want to install the log analytics agent or the Microsoft monitoring agent. So on non-Azure virtual machines, you have to go and install it. So we call it as Microsoft monitoring agent needs restart. So once after it is installed and been restarted, I'll show you where exactly it is. See, if you are going to your Azure virtual machine, you will be able to see the log analytics agent by default here. I'll show you where exactly it is present. So if you go to your C drive in your Windows Explorer, go to your C drive. Under that, go to Program Files. Under that, you'll see Microsoft Monitoring Agent. So here it is. And you'll see the agent here. And this is where all your Microsoft related agents will get installed. And we specifically want to find out the agent for the monitoring agent, right? So this is the exe for that, health service exe. Go and right click on that and go to properties. You will be able to find the version of um, that. Okay, so here you can see this is the version of Microsoft monitoring agent service. So health service, I'll keep it for your reference. So if you want to find the location, this is where it gets, this is automatically installed on your Azure VM. Only for non-Azure VM, you have to go and install it. Okay, you can verify whether it has got the latest version. It is having the latest version for sure. Okay, and also you can just close this, go to your services. So if there is any issue with your patching or activities, so you can go and double check this. So go and check whether your Microsoft monitoring agent is reporting the status properly. If you are not able to see the status of your patches and all those things, maybe this service is not running. This is the service which is used for reporting the status of the agent. Okay, so I can just copy it. See, MMA extension, health heartbeat service. Okay, check whether this is started or not. Even you can start the other service also. See, audit, agent audit forwarding, and this one. If you want to have the .NET application monitoring, then you need to enable this. Okay, so currently at least there is no .NET, but if you have some .NET application, so if you want to monitor the health of .NET application on this computer, then you need to start this particular service. This will monitor the application also. This is application performance monitoring option. Okay, and you also have one more status here. This is the one. Okay, this is the primary one, Microsoft monitoring agent. This is the primary one which I talked about earlier on this location, but you also have an extension that will report the status. This is the extension of the machine, whether it is running or whether the agent is running. So you have two different services. Okay, you have to check both of them. Okay, yep. Now let's go and check whether that other virtual machine got restarted. Yeah, let's connect. So once after the agent is installed, we should be able to see this EC2 Amazon virtual machine in Azure console. So can we go and check that? So we'll go and check that on this Azure console. Here, if I go to the top, I should start seeing more machines now. Okay, let me go and check the Linux. Go and run the log check. So go and wait for it. See, I'm able to see the Stan Azure Linux VM1 registered here. Now, similarly, if I want to check the Windows one, I can go and check the log. Now I should see at least 3 machines. Yeah, so I'm seeing the EC2 machine, which is from the AWS, and Stan Azure Windows VM1 and Stan Windows Active Directory. So I've got 3 machines now. So I can also see the public IP of all these machines, and I can see the agent status and all those stuff. So let me see, it is also showing from where it is from. This is Azure VM and this is non-Azure. Okay, it is also clearly telling me that it is a EC2 instance, okay, from AWS. Okay, let's go and refresh it. Okay, I can just go and come back. See, it is showing 3 Windows server and it is showing 1 Linux server. Perfect. So we are all set now. So we have got 4 virtual machines to play with. I can also log into Google and add the GCP machine, but let's go and understand these things first and then let's explore a little more. See, if you want to uh, follow this approach, you can also follow this approach. They have another option where you can connect to the data sources and then configure the monitoring solution, and you can follow step 1, step 2, step 3, but I have given you the simplest, easier way to connect it. Okay, now let me go to the update management automation account. Under the automation account, go to the update management. Now I will be seeing 4 virtual machine here. Okay, it will take some time. Okay, so currently it is showing 0. So how do I go and manage them? So go and click on manage machine and I can say enable on all available machines. So here I'll see the list of 4 machines now. So if it is okay, it is only showing 3. Okay, the EC2 VM, okay, EC2 is there. Azure Windows VM is there. Azure Linux is there. It is not showing the Windows Server AD machine. That is fine. So let me enable on all the machines. I'll say enable on all available and future machine also, so that it will automatically add the fourth machine also. So let it get added. So you have to go and click on this manage machine option. If you're not seeing it by default here, you have to go and click on manage machine, and you have to start adding the machines that are getting reported. Now I'll start seeing the machines in this list. And once the machine is reported, you will also, after few minutes, I told you, right? So there is a frequency of scanning. So every 1 hour Linux machine will be scanned, and every uh, in a single day Windows machine will be scanned twice. You can also go and scan it manually. I'll show you how to do that. But here, once after the machines are added, you will start seeing the missing update on each of the VMs here. Okay, let it come.
Stan?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you told me there is future machine also means if the same subscription there is any other virtual machine there, so it will add automatically or
No, no.
what
If
was
you are adding a machine to your log analytics workspace, those machines will be
okay.
automatically coming here. Not all the machines in your Azure platform. Only the machine that gets added to your log analytics workspace.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
So we added it, right? So I showed you how to do the log analytics workspace registration. So you have to go to your log analytics workspace. Okay, let me show you that. So whichever machines we are adding it here, it will automatically get added to your update management. So here under this, you can go and check. So whichever machines we are registering here, linking here, only those machines will come up there.
Okay,
Yeah. So let it reflect. Okay, let us give it some time. I'll also try to log into my GCP account. Let me reshare my screen. Okay, so I have to find out my credential for the GCP login. Let me reshare. I'll also try to connect to my primary network. Just give a second. Okay, yeah, let me reshare my screen now. So I'm logged into my Google account. So here also you can go and create a virtual machine. So here I can go and create a VM instance. It is exactly the same procedure that we need to follow, like how we followed in AWS. We have to create the VM, we have to install the agent, and we are all done. So let me call it as GCP Windows VM1. Okay, the network is little fluctuating. I'll go for general purpose and I will select Okay, I'll change the operating system. I'll go for Windows. Okay, let me close this. Just a second. I will just refresh my screen. I don't know. My network is very floppy. Okay, I'll create that VM shortly, but that's fine. So let us check here. So now if I go to my automation account, I should start seeing some updates now. Okay, some more details. It will take some time to refresh, but automatically we'll see the missing updates and all those stuff. See, it is checking Stan Azure Linux VM. So it is saying currently update agent readiness is not configured, but automatically it will reflect. But don't worry, I mean, you have to have some patience here. It will take some time at the initial time, and then it will get automatically assessed. And once the machine is assessed, you'll see what are the updates that are missing on this particular VM. So it will happen automatically. You don't have to do anything. Only you need to provide the time, or if you want to do a schedule, you can also do a schedule. I'll walk you through that options. And what happened on this VM where we installed admin center. Okay, so admin center is now ready. I can finish it off. So once after I have installed the admin center, it will open up a browser window. Let us give it some time. So give some time, it will reflect. Let me charge this mobile. So you also have the same option in the cloud platform also. If you go to admin center, you have Microsoft 365 admin center, which with which also you can manage different systems. Okay, so I'll explain that later, but now let's focus on this Azure update management. See, when it comes to operating system, okay, so we have two different major flavors, right? Windows and Linux. And with Windows, you have a lot of classifications of patches. Okay, so I'll help you to note those things. So here, when we talk about patch classification, if you go to any organization, by default, the best practice that they follow is every Windows machine should have to get all the security and critical updates. Okay, for all your Windows servers, you have major categories like this. You have critical update, you have security update, and then you have other categories like update rollups. You'll have feature packs, you'll have service pack, you'll have definition update, you'll have tools update, and some general update. Okay, so these are the two categories that are pre-approved, and every organization will not skip these two things because these are all very critical update, and this is for addressing a specific problem, and which is very critical update, and also it is non-security related update. It is critical but not related to security problem, but this is again, it is security related and also product specific. Okay, so these two update you have to approve installing on all your machines without fail, and every organization you go, they will install these two things without exception. And these things like update rollup, like Microsoft generally they have a cumulative practice of adding the hot fixes in a package. So this is a cumulative update. When I say cumulative update, they will combine 4 or 5 updates or a few set of hot fixes, and then they will release it as a roll up. Okay, so every quarterly or every 3 months or 6 months, they will release some roll-up package, which is a cumulative set of hotfixes. If you install them together, it will install multiple hotfixes in a single installation. So feature pack, it is again, if there is a new version or new feature that has been introduced, Microsoft will provide a feature update. Similarly, there are a lot of other things like if there is a specific set of service pack is combined update of critical security update rollup. So I think you might have heard about it, right? Microsoft will release Service Pack 1, Service Pack 2, and all those things. So it will combine a lot of hot fixes, security patches, critical patches, and all those things. And these definition updates are mainly for anti-malware or antivirus related updates. This is for your Microsoft Defender. Okay, so Microsoft Defender related updates, or it can be definition updates also. So this is mainly against the virus issues and all those stuff. And tools, it's general, okay? So it's tools, utilities, or any features will be covered under here. Update to on this is updates for third-party application or for any other applications and softwares. Okay, this is mainly for third-party or something which comes installed without the default operating system stuff. So this is for Windows Server, okay? And for Linux, you have only two categories. You got critical and security updates together, and you got other updates, only these two. And this is actually mandatory for all your Linux server. Other updates, this is not critical or not related to security. Anything which are not critical and security will be combined together in other updates. So unlike your Windows, you have only these two category. Here we have got these many categories, total of 8 category, but here you have got only 2 category. Okay, this is again this is updates for specific problem, product specific, and security related updates. Okay, as I told you, Microsoft releases security patches every second Tuesday. So they call it as Patch Tuesday. But again, it is not a official term. But in general, if you go to Microsoft Updates portal, you will see some similar words like that. So every month there will be patching for Windows Server. So Windows servers will be patched on a monthly basis. In Linux server can also be patched on a monthly basis, but there won't be a lot of updates. So based on your organization practice, it can be quarterly or monthly basis. But I have seen only quarterly updates happening for Linux VMs in most of the cases. But for Windows, every month you will be patching it. So when I say every month we patch it, we will not patch both production and non-production together. So non-production servers will be patched maybe for example, if the patches are released on second Tuesday, so we will go and update on the third weekend for non-production, and production servers will be updated on the fourth weekend. Okay, something like that. So we'll have to monitor the situation of the systems after the patches are done, whether applications are functioning properly, and then we have to do all the testing. We have to restart the service and then check whether the services are coming normal. So you have to update the development QA test servers first, and then only you have to go and install the patches on mission critical. Sometimes some organization, they will install the mission critical on next month first week. Okay, something like that. Okay, so non-production you can also do it during the weekdays, because it is non-production servers, right? During the weekdays, non-business hours, you can do it. But production systems, generally we do it during the weekends, non-business hours. Okay, so you can also do it during a weekdays also, the non-production server. Depends on organization to organization. Some organization will allow it, some organization they will not allow patching during the weekdays. So if you have a team to support 24/7, if your application team is available during the non-production hours, you can plan along with them, you can get the business approval, and you can go and get it updated. Okay, so all these Microsoft periodical events or rollout of the new system features or the security patches, it comes from the Microsoft Security Response Center. You have something called MSRC. Okay, so while we are talking, so things are happening on the back end. So let it work, let it continue to scan. I mean, I'm not doing any refresh or nothing. Okay, things are getting automatically added here. So let me go and show you MSRC portal. So we call it as Microsoft Researcher portal or MSRC portal. This is where you get all the security response center related. Microsoft has got very huge investment on security risk vulnerabilities or finding out what are the new vulnerabilities coming out and all those things. You can also, if you find some vulnerability, you can also go and report a vulnerability here. So Microsoft has got heavy investment for the cybersecurity team. So here, if I go to the MSRC portal, let me go to um, the downloads page. So Microsoft also uses the same central repository, and I'm not sure how many of you have worked on vulnerability management and patch management. So in globally, we have few renowned vulnerability and exposure management repository. We call it as CVE, Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures. So if someone is identifying some vulnerability or some issue, so they will go and register it in National Vulnerability Database. Okay, this is the central database that maintains all the different vulnerabilities and exposure that is getting reported, and this is maintained by an organization called MITRE. Okay, I'll also show you that. MITRE NVD. So this is the CV and NVD relationship stuff. So whenever you see some vulnerability, you will have a CVE number. So this is maintained by the US government. It is a central repository, and whatever vulnerabilities that are getting reported, everything will be reported in this CVE list. Microsoft also closely watches this database for any vulnerability getting reported or any specific impact from the cybersecurity side. So Microsoft cybersecurity team have a very close watch on this particular total. Okay, see, so far like these many CV records has been registered, and they have been closely watching it. So Microsoft also follows this closely, and they also have their own cybersecurity team, and Microsoft has very high investment. Okay, so I think I'll show you that Microsoft Azure cybersecurity. So if you go to this so they have a very separate investment for cybersecurity. Okay, and I think they invest 1 billion USD every year. Okay, so they have a special investment. So if you scroll to the bottom, you can see that security practice, security hands-on. Okay, let me show you that. So they used to have that in some specific portal, a centralized visibility. Yeah. So we'll talk about Azure Security Center next week, but I want to show you somewhere they give that data, Microsoft Trust Center. Let's go here and then check it out. US National Security Order compliance, not this, I've clicked on the wrong window. Let me show you that. Let me go to Azure Update Patch Management. Not this. Okay, let me go to this site. Possibly, if you scroll down, you should be able to see that. See here, Microsoft has got 1 billion USD annually only on cybersecurity research and development, and they have got 3,500 security experts working only on data security and privacy. So they have a very big team, and they watch on every single database or every single auditing comprehensive list for any issues on the cyber security side. So Microsoft has got a very specialized team who work on getting things in addressed on the security as soon as possible. So they also look at the national vulnerability database as well. Okay, let me go to the link now. Let's go and check what is the current status. Okay, where is that site? Okay, here only, right? Okay, so let me go and refresh this. Let's see what has changed. Okay, so you can see that it has started reporting. Okay, it says one machine is compliant. This is my stan Windows Server Active Directory machine, which we have installed long back during our Active Directory class. We installed this, and you can see that one machine is non-compliant. If you want to find out which are the missing update, you can click on this, and you can see that these updates are missing on that particular server. And also you can find out the KB article link. And you know, right, if you go click on this KB article, and if you open it on a new tab, you can also go and find out what is the purpose of that KB article, whether it is for what tool and all those things. You can find it out here. And also you can go and look at a little more details. For example, you don't have to click on this link. Okay, if you go to catalog, Microsoft security catalog. So there is a portal called catalog.microsoft.com where you can find out all the updates and KB article. Okay, so this is the catalog.update.microsoft.com. If you go to this site, you can go and enter any KB article and you will be able to find the details of that. This is where you go and get those details. Okay, so I can just, for example, if I want to understand what this KB article is about, I can copy this and then go to this portal and I can search it here. So it will give me the details. What is that particular missing patch and what is the purpose of that, which operating system it is applicable for, and whether we should install it immediately or whether we can schedule it for later deployment. See here on this machine, I could see that there is one security update which is missing. I was telling about different classification, right? So I was talking about critical security and all these classification. So only one critical update is missing because these are all very latest machine or latest images we have used. So only one security patch is missing, and this has got released when. So I can also get that details here. Okay, it will take some time, and if you find out here, it is applicable for Windows Server 2022, and it is also applicable for Azure Stack VM. If you go to the top, you can also see what are the CVE numbers for that. See, it is giving the CVE number also. What is the CVE number? Just now I explained, right? This is the central common vulnerability and exposure exploit link where every vulnerability will have a CVE number, and Microsoft also will take that references and it will create a KB article, and Microsoft will have a unique number for their purpose. They have a KB article number, and you will also see which operating system are impacted with this. So whatever like we have got is 2016, it is also impacted, or 2019 is also there on the list. So now what I can do is, in order to fix these things, I can go and do a manual fix here. I can go and install the patches on that machine, but that is not the recommended way, right? You have got multiple machines to manage. So how do we handle this? I can go and schedule a deployment, update deployment. So here I can just say this is a schedule for my Windows, maybe I will say Windows non-prod or whatever. In real time, you will have some meaningful name like this, non-prod deployment cycle. And currently I will just go and select the Windows VM. I'll just say, I'll create a group. I'll just call this as Azure group. Here I will just go and select my subscription. I can select all resource group, and then I can do a filter by location, but here I have got only few machines across these things. I'll add it. So now I will able to find out how many machines are there. So let me click OK, and here I can go and find out the list of machines. So let me go and click on the important machine or the general machine here. Let's wait for some time. Okay, so here I can see that these are the two machines that are readily available. So I think this machine is what is having issue. I'll just add this. I'll also add this machine, but there is no missing patches on this machine, but I'll still add it into the group. Okay, click on OK. And here is where you have to carefully select which one you need to select and all those things. So your organization will have a practice whether you want to select everything or whether you want to only install critical and security. In some of the organization, they will only install critical and security. I'll just create one example like that. So here I'm going to only install the two update classification. So we will install only the critical and security here. Okay, and it is asking me whether I want to stop any virtual machines before, I mean, stop any service before the patching. You can also create some pre-script or post-script if you have some special handling on your server. So before you do the restart, or if before you want to patch the machine, you can go and stop the service, or you can disable the antivirus, or whatever you want to do. You can do it in a pre-script and post-script. And here I can just go and schedule it for, currently the time is 7:10, right? So I will schedule it for 7:20, or I'll schedule it for 7:15, and you have to select the time zone. Okay, I'm just going to select the India time zone here. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, India standard time. So I'll just say 7:20, or I'll say 7:16. Okay, it says you have to schedule it after 5 minutes, but I think this is okay. 17, oh, okay, 7:17 p.m. only, right? So date is today. Yeah, this is fine. Okay, if you want to do it on a daily basis, you can change it to recurring. If you want to do it every week or every month, you can also go and schedule it like this. Okay, but I don't want to do it regularly. I just want to do it only once now. And if the machine, there are few options. If a reboot is required, you can select reboot if required. If you don't want your machine to reboot, you can just select never reboot, so that the patches will be installed, but you can go and reboot your machine after getting approval, or after some time you can go and reboot it after working with your business owner or application team. If you want to reboot your machine always, whether the patches needing reboot or not, if you want to reboot it, you can select always reboot. So after the patching is complete, even if the patch is not requesting reboot, it will go and reboot it. Some organization, they want to reboot their machine every month, at least once in a month or something like that, so they will select always reboot. So you can just follow the instruction from your organization, the SMEs, or whatever their instruction that they are following. But the best practice is to only reboot, and will not install update option is also there, but that is not the best practice. You have to reboot if required. Okay, if there is a reboot that is needed, you have to reboot the machine. So this option, maintenance window, see, if you want to stop the patching or stop the reboot after a particular time, see, you will get only a particular window, right? You will not get a large window for your patching. So they will say from midnight 7:20 to or like midnight 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, you can do the patching and reboot. So you can configure how many minutes you can take the machine down. Okay, so you after 120 minutes, even if the patching is not complete, it will stop the patching. Okay, so let me create the window here. So this schedule, okay, it says, okay, value, okay, it should be at least 5 minutes from the time. So while I was speaking, that 5 minutes went away. So let me just quickly do that. So non-prod patching, I'll go and quickly select the machine. Uh, Okay, let me add all the machines here. I'll add this machine, this machine, this machine, all the three machines. And I will just go and install only critical and security. And then if you want to exclude some KB article, you can also go and exclude some KB article. So we saw some list of patches, right? If you want to exclude some of the updates, you can also exclude it. That option is there. Okay, I'll just go and schedule it. So at 7:14 now, I'll just go and configure it for 7:20. I'll go and select the India time zone. Okay, once at 7:20, fine. Let me go and create it. Fine. So now what it will do is it will go and install only this security update on this server. Okay, so these things will not get installed because we have not selected it. So I will show you how to do that. So I'll create a another deployment cycle. Maybe this is for non-critical update. I will go and select the VM. So on these VMs, I'll go and install the other updates at what time. So we can see if you want to skip something, you can also skip that. Let me show you that. For example, if I don't want to install this definition update, for example, okay, I can just copy this KB article number and I can also exclude it here. I just need to provide the number alone. KB is not needed. Okay, so this alone will be we can exclude it. Okay, I don't want to install this. I can exclude this and then say okay. So it will install all the other updates, but it will skip only this one because we don't want to install this. That also you can do. Okay, so here install update, you can go and schedule it. So I will schedule it for 7:30. So at 7:20 it will install security and critical, but at 7:30 it will install the remaining non-critical and non-security related updates. Okay, based on your organization requirement, you can go and schedule for Windows, Linux, and so on for non-production and production. So you are getting a much better screen now. You are able to see all the 4 machines. So there are 2 machines which are non-compliant. One Linux machine and one Windows is non-compliant. So we have not configured any update for Linux. So we'll also go and create a group for that. So what is the missing update on Linux? Oh, Linux has got a lot of missing update. So Python, JIT, there are many security updates missing on Linux. Okay, so what we will do is we will go and fix these things. I'll go and schedule a separate cycle for Linux machine, Linux update cycle, and I'll select the Linux machine here. So here I will just go and select the VM, go and add that Linux VM here. So it is here. So it is saying, right? So it will only list only the machines that has reported in the last 12 hours. If your machine is off, it will not come here. So here I want to only install critical and security. Okay, I'll skip the other updates. There are many updates that are missing, but I'll only install the security and critical for Linux category. So Linux other, I don't want to fix it. Okay, but if I want to fix it, I can select that one also here. But for Linux only, we have 2 categories. Okay, so what time we can run the schedule? So we can go and run the schedule at 7:25. You can also schedule it in a recurrence interval. IJKL India. Okay, so let me go and create the schedule. So where do I go and find all these deployment schedule? So you go to this screen here, you will be able to find the different schedule that you have created. For non-production 7:20, Linux update 7:25, non-critical update 7:30. So you will see all the schedule that are recurrent or one time. If it is recurrent, you will see recurrence here. If it is one time, it will show one time here. See, for example, if I want to do this as a recurrent one, I can go and change it anytime. So I can go and change the schedule here. I can just make it recurring and I will just say every 1 week this has to happen on every today's Sunday, right? So you can mark this expiry as the schedule will complete at 11 February. Okay, just for an example. Okay, if you want to run it, create a schedule for next 6 months or 1 year, you can go on schedule, create a schedule. Okay, so let us wait for this. So at 7:20, this has to start. So this will cover 3 VM, and at 7:25, the Linux update will run. This is for 1 VM only. See, this is weekly basis. This has changed to weekly now. But again, that is also going to get triggered at 7:30. So when you at 7:20, this has to start. But sometime because this is a patching update management as a service, right? So a lot of customers will have their own schedule. So it is not guaranteed that it will start at 7:20 exactly, but most of the case, 90% of the case, it will start on time. But there are chances that there will be delay if there are too much of patching or too much of orchestration that is there in the queue in Microsoft window or Azure platform. Then it might start at 7:25 or maybe at before 8, but it will not continue to run after 2 hours because we have given only maintenance window of 120 minutes. If you have a very larger maintenance window like 6 hours or 8 hours, you can give whatever time you want to. So it will try to complete all the patching within that 8 hours or 6 hours window. If the patching is continuing even after 2 hours, it will stop any new patches getting installed. If it is goes beyond 2 hours, I mean 120 minutes here. Okay, let this run. Okay, we need not watch the screen. Okay, so meanwhile, I'll explain about few more important information. So I talked about hot patching, right? What is exactly hot patching? So hot patching is a recent update from Microsoft. We have this concept in Linux for a long time. Okay, in SUSE Linux and all those things, we call it as live patching. So live patching is something you install the patches on the memory, but you don't install it on the actual operating system directly. Okay, so the patches will be installed on memory, so you don't have to reboot the machine immediately. So once the reboot is done, then only the patches will get saved to your actual system. So this will save some time for this is mainly for your security and critical patches to the kernel. So what is the advantage? You can install it without restarting. Okay, and when you restart it, it will get applied to your actual machine. So this is mainly to reduce the downtime. And Microsoft provides a hot patching on a monthly basis. There is a baseline that you can create. So it will lower the workload or application downtime impact. So this means less reboot. This is the advantage of hot patching. And you can have a smaller quick update cycle. You just need to restart, only restart during the maintenance window. You don't have to install the patches and all those things, because hot patches will already get applied to your memory, and when the restart happens, it will get applied to your operating system. So this is very recently introduced in Microsoft flavor. It was available in Linux with name live patching. Okay, so in Windows they call it as hot patching. So they have taken that particular thing from Linux best practices. This is a new way of installing update. Okay, so hot patch is nothing but a new method or way of installing updates to your machine. So this will only patch the in-memory code of the running process. Okay, without need to restart the process or without need to restart the operating system. So I'll show you that. So if you go to hot patches, Microsoft releases hot patches in a particular cycle. I'll show you that here. Microsoft Windows hot patching. So this was recently introduced 1 year back. Okay, so I'll just open it here. So if you look at here, these are the advantages that I was talking about, right? So better protection, faster deployment. See here, hot patches will be released every see on the planned patches will be coming on every first month here, and see every 6 months you will have unplanned baseline and hot patches. Microsoft will release every month, or like except of Jan, April, July, and August. So every 3 months they will have a planned baseline release from Microsoft. Microsoft will release hot baselines in the remaining months. Okay, so it will cover only the Windows security updates and the critical updates which are not impacting your operating system. Okay, so it is very uh, interesting way how Microsoft has come up with an option to reduce the downtime for your operating system. So whenever people talk about application running on Microsoft, they always think we need to reboot it every month, right? Now Microsoft has reduced that by having quarterly recycle restart required, because during Feb and month you are installing only the hot patch releases, no reboot is needed. Okay, so only during the planned baseline and unplanned baseline you have to do a reboot. So instead of rebooting the machine every month, you just have to reboot only once in 3 months. So Microsoft has come up with this interesting option, but not a lot of organizations has not yet adopted it, but it will be adopted very soon. Okay, so that you can have quarterly recycle for, quarterly restart for your Windows machine like your Linux operating systems. Okay, that is what hot patching concept is. Okay, let's see if the schedule has started running here. It should have started. If I go and refresh it, or if I go and look at the history, I should start seeing it. Okay, see next runtime it is saying none because it should have become a history now. Let me show status all. So this cycle is complete. They should have completed already. Let's wait for the result. You can also go and click the, don't have to delete it. Let's give it some time. So whichever uh, maintenance which is already completed, it will be under the history here. See, it is saying succeeded. So it was completed in 2 minutes itself, but we have given 120 minutes maintenance, but it has utilized only 2 minutes for patching. So what time it ran? It ran at 7:21. It started in 1 minute itself. Okay, so sometimes it will take some time, but we have scheduled it for 7:20, but it started in 7:21, and it has patched on how many machine? 3 machine. You can also see that the status is succeeded. So after few minutes, you can start seeing that this machine is getting compliant now. Okay, let's wait for some time, and you'll see the result. Okay, now this is also completed. See, there is one more schedule that is currently running. So this will run in 7:30. Okay, so let us take a break while these are happening on the back end. While these machines are getting compliant, we'll take some break and come back, and we'll look at the logs. Any questions before we take the break? Okay, so if not, I'll just stop the recording for some time.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, perfect. So, see, after the break, we can start seeing that the machines are getting compliant, because these are all Windows machine. Now, all the patches might have got updated. Now I can see there are only 8 missing update. Earlier it was 15, right? And you can see that the Linux machine is still showing us 4 missing update. So the scan will happen little later. Okay, so you can also go and check what are the missing updates. See, this is only Linux updates are missing. And as you remember, if you remember, like I have purposefully excluded this KB article. If you remember, I excluded the Microsoft Defender antivirus update. So that is the reason this update is missing on that server, on the Windows server. But otherwise, even this might have got installed if you have included it under the 720 or 725 cycle. It might have also got added. Okay, so let me go and refresh it. Now I can see all the history of updates that has completed. I should start, I should see at least 3 of them. Perfect. Okay, see, this one started at 7:21. This started on time at 7:25. This started at 7:31. So this has installed all the security and critical update at 7:20. At 7:30, it has installed all the non-critical related update for Windows Server. Okay, and Linux update is also complete. In few minutes, you will also see that updates here. So all these security update should get installed on the Linux machine. Okay, let's wait for that. So you can also see it is still showing as non-compliant. The AWS machine, it is showing as not assist, but it will also show whether it is compliant or not compliant in few minutes. Okay, but it was successful. See, if you look at here, we targeted three machine, all the three machines were successful. So how do I get the log information, what patches got installed, or whether it was successfully installed, or how do I get those details? So in order to get those details, that's why I initially told at the beginning of the session that all the data will get accumulated into a log analytics workspace, which is a intelligent storage account. So whatever the data that is getting accumulated there, you will be able to get the report out of it. Okay, I'll show you how to get the report from the log analytics workspace. Go to the log analytics workspace here. Go to the log analytics workspace. So here, there are two ways of doing that. Okay, you can just go to the logs here. You can close this. Okay, here, if I scroll down, I will be able to find a section called virtual machine. Under the virtual machine, or else you can also go and search for update management. See, it says list of computers with Azure Update Management deployed. If I click on run, it will give me a report on how many machines has got the update management configured. Okay, it will give a report format here. And if you want to have it in a chart, see, these are the machines that are managed using Azure Update Management. And if I want to get that report, you can go to the right corner here, or you can also go and click on this option and export it. See, here you have the option to export it in a Excel file or a CSV file. Also, you can go and export a Power BI format mQuery thing, and you can also show visualization update to your customer. So you can also use this report in a Power BI format, and during the weekly or monthly governance, you can also highlight which machines has got patches installed and which machines have missing updates and all those things. So you can also export it from this report. Currently, this result is only for the list of machines that are managed using update management, but I want to get the update for systems which has got patches installed recently, and the patches that are missing and all those things, right? And for that, I can expand this virtual machine, scroll down. So there are a lot of predefined queries available. So you'll have to see missing security or critical update. So if I want to get a report of missing security and critical update, and I can just select this and then I can run it. So if I run it, it will give me the list of machines which has missing critical and security patches. See, it is given there are 3 machines which are Windows, and I can go and take a report here. Okay, it will open it in a Excel format, and the report will be very beautiful. If you look at the Power BI report, it will be much interesting. Okay, there will not be any missing report because we have already fixed all the uh, 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 missing update. But I'll enable the content and I'll show you. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me go and find out patch installation failure. If there are any patches that are missing, or if there was a failure during the patch installation, you can also go and run the report, because customers will ask the report, right? Whether you installed all the patches successfully, was there any patches which did not get installed properly? So all those report you can get it here. Okay, let me scroll to the right. So it is running on the back end. So you can see that status here. If it is refreshing, it is running there. I can also go and find other report. Let me go and search for patch related queries. So these are all already predefined queries. You don't have to write any. This statement is similar to your SQL, but the querying language is called KQL. Okay, Questo querying language. This is little different from your regular querying language. See, it is asking for the access. Let me give some access here. Okay, it is asking for permission, not this one. Okay, just a second. Okay, let me log in. Okay. So now once after okay, that's fine. Okay, let me close this. Okay, I'll close this also. I will download and open it. Instead of opening it live, it is better to download the report and open it. See, I can get the complete report. Okay, it is saying these patches are missing on these machine and it has not installed, it has not started installing that. Okay, if it is showing failed, that means it has tried installing and it has failed. Okay, so not started means I have not tried installing these patches. So I purposefully excluded this one, right, the malicious software removal, and I can go and get the report here. Now I can just go and say export in a CSV format, or I can just say all columns, and then it will get output here. I can open it in a Microsoft Excel. Okay, all these report will be available. So if you want to present these data to customer, you can share this information with them. See, it is giving us the complete details. Which patches were not started, what are the missing updates. See, on the Linux machines, I'm seeing that these things are missing now. So which means the remaining security related things might have has got already installed. See, it is saying only these are not installed, not started. So I saw like somewhere around 8 to 10 missing patches on Linux, right? So those were already installed. So how do I get those report? Let's try that. So now I think if you just click on this option, you will also see some more queries here. I can just go and select the category, not resource type. Let me just say patch. Okay, it is showing security. What changes occurred last month? See, beautiful. List all update and patch requests from the last 30 days. If I just click on this run, it will give me the complete patching history for the last 30 days. But I mean, sometimes it will take some time because we just installed it very recently. So let me just change the time interval. Okay, let me go and find out another option here. So under security, mm, computers with failed login. See, you have a lot of report that you can get. Okay, so this particular statement that we are writing here, right? This is called KQL, Question Querying Language. That is what I was about to type here. It is not SQL. Okay, it is Question Querying Language, which is Microsoft official proprietary language. Even Microsoft has got MS SQL, but KQL is the querying language here. You don't have to memorize anything. So you already have a predefined query here. You can just go and select which one you want, and you can customize it. Okay, so there are hundreds of queries. That is the only problem. So if we have more than enough um, statements already available, pre-populated here. We just have to select the right one. Patch installation failure is not correct one. Top 10 virtual machine by CPU utilization, virtual machine available memory. Okay, let me go and search again. Let me go and say patch installation failure, patch installation failure. Only these are available. Huh? Okay, let me go and query it again. Let me go and search it. List all update and patch request for a time duration. I think, yeah, this one will be better. What changes occurred last month? Patch installation failure. I think, yeah, we'll go with this one. Okay, this is saying list all requests for, okay, this is key vault. This is not the right one. So what changes occurred last month? Okay, let me load this in the editor, and then we can just change it not for 30 days. We'll just say for last 2 days. Okay, so we'll just say last 2 days and then run this, because we just did that. So maybe it will take some time. Let me change the time query here. Last 3 days. Run it. Okay, but again, it will definitely provide a beautiful report. So this will provide all the update management that has happened. So you have to wait for some time. Okay, you have to select the scope. I think it is all selected already. Yeah, it is already selected. All resource group, everything is selected. That's fine. Yeah, it has got the report now. Perfect. Okay, now I can go and export it. Perfect. So it says how many missing updates, how many updates got installed on each machine. On this machine, there were 4 missing security update, and how many got updated. So last it was assessed at this particular 125. See, it is exactly showing the time when it got updated, and also it shows what is the OS environment and everything. So it is giving a very beautiful report when what are the missing patches and when it got updated and everything. Now it is showing -1 because it is already fixed here on these machines. So you can get a very interesting reports, like a lot of queries are available here, and you can go and get machines which are having high CPU utilization, top 10 machine with storages. So you have a lot of queries here. Spend some time on the log analytics workspace. So it will give you a lot of details. Okay. So now let's go back here, go back to our console. Let's go and check what is the current status of the 4 machines, whether they are still not compliant or whether they are already compliant. Okay, 2 of them are compliant. One Linux machine is still not compliant because there are 4 security patches that are still missing. It will take some time, but in the report, okay, it did not show up this. Maybe let's do one thing. Um, let's go and look at the history. Okay, yeah, history has completed. All the 3 schedule has got completed. It'll take some time. Okay, so it will provide the report status. This is the current procedure on how organizations are doing patching in a recurrent way using Microsoft Azure Update Management. So in the future, in the next maybe 3 to 6 months, they will move to use the new option which is called Update Management Center. Okay, this is in preview. In maybe in 3 to 6 months from now, you will organization will start using it. Currently, none of the organization is using this. This is a very new feature through which you can go and add all the machines, and then you can start patching it. You can select all the machines here, and then you can check for update, and you can also do a one-time update. Also, you can do a scheduled update. This is very, very simple compared to Azure Update Management. This is only purpose built for updating or patch management. I can just say check for update. You can click on assess the update, and it will show me what are the missing update and what are the pending reboot and everything in single console. So it is very powerful tool. I can show you how it looks like. See, once after you complete the scanning, it will show you that total of 220 machine, 12 updates are missing, 197 machines are not reporting, how many failed. So this is the complete visibility you will see once after you add all the machines. Okay, let us wait for some time. Okay, so this is how it is going to provide us the report. So it does mean organizations are not still using it because it is still in preview. There is no SLA, there is no cost for this, but in the future, after 3 or 6 months, organization will start using this one. Currently, organizations are using Azure Orchestrated or Azure Automation Update Management only. Whatever I have shown demo today, that is the one we are using currently. And here also you can get the report of in a CSV format, in a comma separated value. And if the customer is asking for some report, you can also provide that missing patches or schedule details and everything to the customer. Okay, so let's, it will take some time. Okay, so currently it says no pending update on this one machine. In this machine, there is no pending update, but Azure Windows VMN, there is one pending update. Why? What is the reason? We excluded that one update on that machine, that, I mean, what is that? Malware related stuff. Okay, you can just see that. See, this is the one which we skipped, right? I excluded the KB article. So if you want to fix this, you can click on this and you can do a one-time update if you want. Okay, I can just add this machine and then I can click on next, and then I can just click on next and then reboot if required, and then click on next, and I can install that patches. You can also go and install single patches or single update like this. Okay, so that is also possible. You can do a scheduled update, or you can also do a manual update, like a one-time update, how I did now. So I've installed the missing KB article, which I purposefully skipped from the update management actually. So you can also open the update management center again, and then now you will this one also will go away. Okay, so let's wait for some time. So automatically it will start showing the report. See, this Linux machine is taking some time because every 1 hour only you will get a scanned report, Linux machines. These are very good options. Okay, so this has simplified patching like anything. It is very simplified these days. So any questions from anyone so far? So again, these are all very important topics which you need to be aware of if you are joining any organization. If you are becoming part of your cloud operations team, then you have to look at all these things. Okay, so how many pending Windows update, how many pending Linux update, how many machines are getting patched, because frequently customer will ask about security related or patches related report. So here is where you have to come and get the report. You can export it from here and you can provide it. Okay, so let me go to the automation account, and then let us try why that Linux machine is still not fixed. See, I can also see that 10 activities has got completed. Wow, perfect. So Linux is now compliant. Okay, so all the security patches are now updated. So we have not included the three other update. So we purposefully skipped it. So if I want to install that also, you can also go and do that. How do I do that? See, now only the other updates are missing. Okay, I only selected security updates for Linux. If I want to include that, I can just go and include that here. See, for an example, I can go and add the other updates also, and I can run a schedule at maybe what time? Currently 7:55, 7:57, right? At 8:03, I can run this, and then I will install the uh, other update also. So now even the other updates, these ones will also get installed on that machine. So these three missing updates will also get fixed now. Now this one, the definition update, we already triggered it via the one-time update option using the new tool. Okay, so this one will also become compliant now. Okay, so let's give it 1 or 2 minutes at 8:02. I mean, what time? 8:03. This will also get fixed. Okay, any questions? So this is how you generally manage patching for Windows on Azure platform as well as on non-Azure platform. Windows, Linux, and everything can be patched centrally from here. So this is a very important topic. You have to definitely practice yourself and get familiarized with the approach. And I also shared a lot of information here. So how we do it, what is the frequency of update and all those things. And Microsoft has got a practice of availability first update. So what is availability first update? So availability first update means if you have multiple machines running on different region, or if you have machines running on multiple availability zone, or if you have machines running across multiple availability set, Microsoft will never patch two different paired regions at the same time. So they will patch region 1 first, and then only they will patch the second region, so that both the machines running on two different region will not be impacted in a monthly update or in a particular update cycle. If it is a geopad region, or if it is a kind of uh, primary secondary site, both the site will not get updated at the same time. Similarly, if you have two virtual machines running on two different availability zone, both the regions or both the availability zones will not get updated at the same time. So first it will update availability zone 1, and then they will go to availability zone 2. Similarly, when Microsoft is taking care of availability set, then we have the update domain, right? You have UD0, UD1, and so on. So updates will get updated on in a kind of recurrent, or like kind of, it will not be updated concurrently. So patches will be done in a phased approach to avoid impact in two different region or zone or set at the same time. So there will not be no concurrent patching. So they will do it one by one. That is what they call it as availability first principle, or availability first approach that Microsoft takes. So if you want to do an automatic VM guest patching, you also have one option. I'm not sure if I showed you that. So if you go to your virtual machine here, so on your VM, if you go to, if you scroll down, under the update, you have the option called update setting here. If you go and select the update settings, you can also go and do a automatic OS update. If you want to do an automatic OS update, automatically when there is a new Windows update cycle, it will automatically get restarted. If you want to do a manual update, you can also change the option here. If you want to use Azure orchestrated update, you can select this option. So this option is under the update section. You can go and change the settings based on your organization practice. If you don't want to do, if you don't want to do a Azure orchestrated update, you can also change it to manual update. There will be some mission critical systems which for which Microsoft, I mean, for which your customer doesn't want to do it in a periodic cycle. Instead, they want to get a special approval and then manually patch it. If you have some critical machines like that, then go and change the update settings to manual patching instead of Azure orchestrated or scheduled update, so that this machine will not go down during the patching or monthly patching cycle. Okay, so you can change that update here. And there is one more option called Windows Admin Center. As I told you, if you scroll up, you can also select it here. And using Windows Admin Center also, you can do the patching here. So if I go and select this and then log in, this will get, this will install it on my machine. This will install this Windows Admin Center extension on my machine. And you can also patch, manage your Azure VM and on-premises VM using Admin Center. So this is a very powerful tool. Using Admin Center, you can do patching, monitoring, and lot of different activities. Okay, I'll show you that. We installed it on one of the server, right? I don't know which server. Okay, maybe possibly those servers got restarted because we patched it, right? Let me go and check. We installed it on one of the machine. You guys can also try to install it, but in Azure platform, you don't have to install it. It is already pre-installed, and you just have to install the extension. I think on this machine only we did it. Let me log in. So at 8.3, the patching will start for that VM. So let's give it some time. Okay, so now I have got the option to enter the credential. Okay, let us log in to the VM and then see whether the admin center is available. Saying on this machine we installed it. Let me check. Go to the downloads. Yeah, here only we downloaded and installed it. Okay, let me try to rerun it. Let's see what it tells. Preparing to install. It should say that it is already existing. Let me check here. Welcome to Windows admin. Why it is not showing anything? Let's see. Yeah, it is showing already installed. Let me change the option here. Okay, use an SSL. This is fine. I think there is a specific port number with which you can directly go and use it from the browser. Let me check. Generally, it opens up that screen automatically. At the last screen, it will give us the option. Let me check the port number. Yeah, finish it. Okay, let me go and find out the port number. So the port number is 65 something, 6516. Okay, let me check that. Localhost. Yeah, get started with Windows Admin Center. Yeah, let's give it a minute. I'll check it, or else I'll show you later. Okay, so HTTPS. Six five one six. Not sure whether the security group is allowed for this port. Maybe if it is not allowed, then it will not work. Okay, let's go and allow the security port. But in general, it gives us a option to add it. Okay, fine. Let me also go to this machine. This machine also we can add the extension alone. Open this port for me. Open an outbound for Windows Admin Center to install it. So 6516. So it will take up to how much? 5 minutes. Okay, so let that run. Okay, so meanwhile, I'll show you what happened on the automation account. If it is all done, then we are good for today. If the Linux updates are done, then see, it says 12 jobs have completed in the last 24 hours, and all 12 jobs were successful. There is no failed job, nothing. Here itself, you will be able to find out if any patching got failed or suspended or stopped. So everything was successful. Everything got completed successfully. It is green here. Okay, you can go to the update management and you can find out. See, why we are seeing 12 jobs? The reason is, see, every single server will be considered as a separate job. So if this is one job, this is 3, 4, and then 7, this is 1, and then previously we ran one more schedule, right? So, okay, so I think this has also got completed. So at 4 o'clock, I mean 8, 4, it had ran it. It ran the Linux update. After a few minutes, even those missing update on the Linux machine will be fixed actually. So these missing 3 updates will also get uh, rectified. So this will also be going away now. Okay, after a few minutes, you will be able to see that. Today is Sunday, right? So tomorrow we cannot see that. Anyways, I'll okay. So any questions so far? This is how we have to take care of our environment patching. So with Azure Update Management and Azure Update Management Center, you can manage Windows, Linux, Azure, non-Azure virtual machines patching. You can add non-Azure virtual machine by clicking this option. You can add Azure machine by selecting this option also. Okay, this is taking some time, and we can also talk about Windows Admin Center in the next class. That is fine. So any questions on the patch management? So if you don't have questions, yeah, I think you can go and have your lunch, take some rest, and then have a good night. And if you are in the US, then yeah, you can have a good rest of the day. So thank you for joining. Okay, I'll be here for 2 more minutes. I think this will take some time, so I don't want to hold you here. Okay, so I'll show you about the Windows Admin Center later.
Thank you, Shan.
Yeah, thank you.
Stan, I have a small doubt.